Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. Choppin' it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.
Well, good morning, good day. Welcome to another edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get right to it. Last night, with not necessarily playoff implications on the line, but a spot where both teams were in a position to maybe distance themselves from the rest of the pack in their own division. You had two division leaders going head-to-head on a neutral ground out in Mexico City between Houston Texans and the Oakland Raiders. And Oakland Raiders prevailed. Wasn't the greatest game. Their running game was kind of invisible. It was their passing attack led by Carr, a young, good-looking quarterback with a bright future ahead of him. He tended to mix it up. It took a late rally in the fourth quarter. Well, it was 4 minutes and change left before he threw the touchdown pass to Amari Cooper, who's been money all season for him. So he nearly threw for 300 yards. So the Raiders hold on with a 27-20 victory over the Houston Texans. And I got to give Houston credit, man. They gave a valiant effort. I'm not one who's a big fan of their quarterback, Brock Osweiler. Can't fault the guy for going where the money was, but I just didn't think he was worth all that money. But it was a valiant effort. Their running game was there. I believe it's Miller. He rushed for 104 yards. I mean, so it just was one of those things where they came up short, didn't get the stop when they needed it. And the Raiders, they prevailed. I mean, it's been a story all year. This is a team that we've been watching for the last two seasons, just getting it right from draft picks to managerial decisions. And can't say enough about Jack. I mean, Jack, he gambles, and this team rallies behind him. And I think the Oakland Raiders is going to be players going forward. I actually think that the AFC Championship game is going to come down between New England and the Oakland Raiders. If I'm the Raiders, I am playing not to get into the playoffs right now, but I'm playing to host that championship game. I wouldn't want to see this team going into Foxborough on a cold afternoon for an AFC Championship game. If I'm Oakland, I'm trying to keep that somewhere in Southern California. It's just as simple. I mean, you got a nice little passing attack. Like I said last night, they spread it out. Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree was their leading receiver. However, they've been their leading receivers all year. In fact, you can make the argument that Michael Crabtree was shut out last night. But Amari Cooper came up big with the touchdown catch. And that's what you're looking for, is stars to be stars when stars need to be stars. And Amari Cooper's probably headed to the Pro Bowl. So is Carr, unless these guys decline the invitation. But again, moments like this, Monday night, you're the only one playing. Everybody, all eyes is on you. You're in Mexico, a neutral site, no advantage to any team. I mean, just as many Mexicans as in Oakland is probably just as many that's in Houston. So it's no real favor on either way. So good win, man. I mean, really a good win. I learned that since the beginning of last season, this is Carr's 8th come from behind win in the fourth quarter or overtime, tied for second most. So this is a youngster that we're watching grow before our eyes. I mean, he's getting better. What can I say? He's getting better. The team is getting better. Like I said, their draft picks are panning out, so they're hitting it right. It's just getting better for him. So the future is looking bright for Oakland. So I think they're going to be winners. I think they're going to be players. Listen, moving along in the NFL, although that's the only game to report, this is a quick week with Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. There's going to be 3 games on, but the game that is really going to be enticing to watch is that Dallas and Washington game at 4:25. That's the one to be in front of the set. Hopefully the meal is out the way, the dessert is on the way, and you could be able to be right in front of it to watch it. I think that's the game right there. If there's a game that Dallas is going to lose, I would say it'd be this game, but I still question when are they going to lose. I can see Dallas finishing 15-1 or 14-2 at this point. It seems like everything they do just goes right. So with a short week, 3 games coming up, we'll talk more about it as the week goes on, and then you still have other games on Sunday that's coming up. But also, I want to touch on college football. This is what they call rivalry week. So, excuse me. Some big college games going on. I mean, anytime Alabama and Auburn meets up, that's always big. You're going to have in my backyard, Georgia Tech. But the game to watch, and this one is really playoff implications. This might determine who goes and who doesn't go. Ohio State travels to Michigan to meet their arch rivals. Man, that's going to be a game. Both teams has been strong all year. Both teams has gotten one loss in the division. Penn State pulled off the upset against Ohio State a couple of weeks back, and just 2 weeks ago, Michigan lost to an unseeded team, unranked team, I should say, Iowa. So look for this to be one of those grudge matches. At this point here, I'm not certain what's going to be the score. It could be a high-scoring game, and it could be a low-scoring game. 2 teams really battling out, trying to maintain that top 5 spot and getting a chance to play in the Big Ten championship. This one here got playoff implications all day long. Should be a good one. It should be a good one. At this point, I'm not making any predictions. Ohio State or Michigan. For those who don't know, I was born in Michigan, but I don't root for the Michigan team. But I might be a little biased this time around. But I do like Urban Meyer. I think Ohio State is one of the few teams that can challenge Alabama, and I actually would like to see Ohio State and Alabama in a championship game. I would like to see that, but it's not what I like to see. These guys got to suit up and play the game. So rivalry week is taking place this week in college football. It should be fun. Among the teams that I mentioned, there's other rivalries that's going to be going on. So it ain't just those. It's going to be throughout the country. So should be a good weekend for college football. Yes, a good weekend for college football. Moving over to the association, and it was a lot of games played last night, believe it or not, on a Monday night. I was surprised to see the amount of games. But the 2 games that stood out for me was the Clippers. They extend their winning ways over Toronto at home, beating them. And then Golden State on the road, going into Indiana. They're shorthanded. They don't care. They just beat them by 37. I bring those 2 teams up because are those the best 2 teams in basketball right now? The Los Angeles Clippers and the 8-game winning streak of the Golden State Warriors. Although Cleveland are the defending champs. And I feel until they're knocked off, they are the best team in basketball. But currently, I believe both these teams host a better record than Cleveland right now. And the Clippers have been maintaining pretty much the number 1 spot in the league for a couple of weeks now. So I asked, are the Clippers and Golden State the best teams in the league right now? Clearly out west, although Golden State suffered that terrible loss at home against San Antonio. I would put Golden State ahead of San Antonio. We got a glimpse of San Antonio last night playing at home against Dallas Mavericks. And then one thing about San Antonio that's strange to me is that this is a very good team, a team that can compete and contend and win a championship. I've never seen a team that can win a championship play to the level of their competition so often as much as they do. Last night, I'm looking at the Dallas Mavericks. They're shorthand about 3 or 4 key guys. And this is a close game to the last man. Maybe 2-3 minutes left in the game, and before they actually pulled away. Or I would say that the Dallas Mavericks might have gotten tired. They were riding the hot hand of Harrison Barnes and Curry. And not Steph Curry, his brother Seth Curry, who I got to give a lot of respect to this is a guy that bounced around from team to team, D-League, and he never gave up on his dream. And as a result of it, he's found a place in Dallas, and he's getting major minutes, and he's contributing. You know, there's a couple of shots that he took that he didn't make, and I'm sitting there laughing. I'm saying, that's not the other Curry. You know what I mean? That's not the Curry. And, but I guess in overtime, he's going to work hard at it, and no doubt in my mind, this guy is going to be in the league, and he's going to be a keeper, and he's always going to be a part of somebody's rotation, whether he's coming off the bench or having an opportunity to start. You can just see the guy's talented, and his confidence is growing by the minute. But getting back to what I was originally asking, are these the two best teams in the league? I mean, the Clippers last night had a balanced attack against Toronto. And remember, Toronto's no pushover. This is an Eastern Conference Championship representative of last season. And, I mean, I saw they had numbers last night, the Clippers, that I hadn't seen before. You had Redick with 20 points. You had Chris Paul with, I believe, 24 and 12 assists. You had DeAndre. He had 17 points, 15 rebounds. I mean, those are numbers you just don't see. Blake, he had 26. And you also had the small forward, man, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try to botch it up. But he contributed with 10. So you had a balanced attack there. And then the bench was led by Jamal Crawford with 12. But it was a total of about 24, 25 points off the bench. Just a balanced attack. Is this the best team that Doc Rivers have to offer to the league this year? Is this the year for the Clippers? I'm on record saying that they're cursed, but is this the year for them? Because with Chris Paul and both Blake Griffin, with the ability to opt out and test the free agency at the end of the season, if they don't get it this year, will they be able to retain the services of those two, or will we see this team broken up? I think this is the most important year in Clipper history. This is the most important year in Clipper history. If they're going to make a run at the title, it is now or never. With those two major players, with the ability to test the free agency, if anything short of a trip to the finals, there's no doubt in my mind, they will not come back. And I can see Blake Griffin traveling home to be in OKC. That would be a good fit if they don't make a move for Rudy Gay. And even if they do, Rudy Gay, his contract will be up at the end of the season. So I don't think that will have any implications there on whether Blake Griffin comes home or not. But I can see him there. If the New York Knicks make the playoffs and show that there is reasons to be excited about them, and the Clippers fall short of the finals, I can see Chris Paul joining his buddy Carmelo Anthony in New York. Remember, Derrick Rose, he's in his final year of his contract also. There's no lock that he would return in New York. However, if they make it to the playoffs and have like a second round trip, you can rest assured that Derrick Rose has something to do with that. So he might earn the right to come back or to earn a contract to come back to be with New York. But I think if Chris Paul is willing, I don't see the Knicks choosing Derrick Rose over Chris Paul, especially with Derrick Rose can always be re-injured at any time. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then Golden State. I mean, they went into Indiana and won by 37. They're finding their groove. They're having fun. Doesn't matter. Each night there's a different person that leads them in scoring between their big three, Durant, Curry, and Clay. I mean, here's a stat for you. I believe Durant only had like 10 points last night in a 37-point blowout. I mean, Indiana was shorthanded, but you know what? Here's my thing. If you're going to be one of the best teams or whatever, man, that's how you beat a team, man. You just go in there, get it over with, rest your starters. You don't have to worry about resting them on a day that they're supposed to play when nothing is wrong with them. You go in there and beat a team by half, and then in the second half, they don't have to play. It just is that simple. But it looks like Golden State has found their stride. That's something to keep an eye on. But I do ask, are those the best two teams in the NBA right now? You got a couple of games on tonight. You got New York hosting Portland. New York has been playing great at home. I think they have a 5-2 record. That's good for them. It's just on the road they're having trouble. But a pesky backcourt of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum could be tough for the Knicks. Let's see how they respond at home to Portland. And good game to watch. OKC goes to Los Angeles, to Staples Center to play the Lakers. I think the Lakers is in need of a win, a bounce-back win. Let's see how they respond. So that should be a good game to watch. And then Atlanta is hosting New Orleans tonight at home. I want to bring up Atlanta and I want to bring up Portland. Two teams that I had not making the playoffs this year. I felt like in the East, Atlanta and Miami will come out of the playoffs, open up 2 spots for New York and Chicago. And I felt that Portland and Houston wouldn't make the playoffs this year. Currently, as we speak, Portland is not in the playoffs, but Atlanta is. A good buddy of mine on the job yesterday tried to entice me into a bet, but I don't bet, a friendly bet about lunch for a week. He says that Atlanta will make the playoffs and will be a top 4 seed. Like I said, I didn't have Atlanta going in this season and making the playoffs. I thought Dwight Howard would be a good acquisition, but I thought they chose the wrong point guard. I thought they chose Schroeder over Teague was a mistake. I didn't think he was ready, and I don't like their front court, and I don't think they would make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, that clearly would be a bottom 4, not the top 4. I told him I think Charlotte will win that division. I ask you guys out there, Hawks fans or just NBA fans, will Atlanta Hawks make the playoffs? And if so, will there be a top 4 or the bottom 4? You can text me, inbox me. Just curious to hear what you're saying. I didn't think Portland would make the playoffs. I thought Portland caught everybody off guard last season. Pretty similar to what happened with Milwaukee 2 seasons ago when they caught everybody off guard and made the playoffs. But then once people started circling the calendar against Milwaukee when they played, you can see that people were ready to play them, and they did not make the playoffs. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Portland this year, especially with Utah, the way they're playing. I think Utah has a chance. They've been suffering a lot of injuries, but if they get healthy, I think that's the team to watch. And look like the Lakers might stick around there. But the one thing that Portland's going to have in their favor, it looks like Dallas is coming out for sure. I don't think Dallas is going to make the playoffs this year. They're just getting into a deeper hole. Maybe when Dirk gets back, whenever that is, maybe that changes things. Maybe Deron Williams getting back will help them. I'm not sure. But right now, as it looks like Dallas is making it tough for themselves to make it to the playoffs. So that's going to be it for the show today. Like I said, rivalry coming up. A couple of NFL games coming up right before our eyes Thursday. A couple of games tonight. So as I always close, see you in 24. Peace and blessings. And I appreciate you for tuning in to Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Peace and blessings.